Hi, my name is Paul Gisondo. Welcome to PechaKucha. That's what I've been calling it. Anyway, I'm a cartographer and a map head. And my career has been spent making maps as an urban planner in New York. And when I tell people I'm a cartographer, I sometimes get asked the question, hasn't everything been mapped already? Which doesn't make me feel too validated. Anyway, tonight I'm here to share my love and passion for maps and to explain to you how maps are a unique and a powerful form of communication and how we will never run out of things to map. Jay. My career in cartography has spanned the ages from the dawn of man era, when most maps were made by cartographers in pen and ink, slumping over light tables, to the digital information age. That's me in the early 1980s, slumping over the light table. But first, a confession or a disclosure, if you will. Maps and map makers lie. We can't get around it. There's even a guide for it with a nice little picture of Pinocchio in a subdivision there. This was my first textbook in college, required reading, and I didn't come by my large nose naturally. Cartographers bring their unique perspectives and biases to the table. Take a New Yorker's view of the world, looking west from 9th Avenue, where nothing really seems to matter west of the Hudson River. Or a Texan's outsized view of their state, where the rest of the country is belittled and marginalized. The art and science of making a map involves distilling the detail and clutter of the real world into a legible graphic representation through the use of symbols, projections, all kinds of things, lines and fonts and all that stuff. And in the process of doing so, little and big lies get told, but truths get revealed. In this infamous example of cartographic distortion is the world map most students grew up with. And it's based on Mercator's projection. And what happens is the land masses are greatly exaggerated towards the poles, like Greenland, which is really 16 times smaller than Africa. So this map actually shows land masses in their correct size, but it completely distorts direction. And it slices and dices the oceans, illustrating the difficulty of mapping a spherical world on a flat surface. Think of flattening an orange peel. And this map completely throws reality out the window, physical reality out the window, but it's based on the cartogram technique, which is very useful for getting a point across. In this case, it's population. So countries here are drawn in direct proportion to their population. So the truth revealed here is the enormous size of India and China's population. And what I like about this map so much is how succinctly it conveys one fact. Of the world's 7.5 billion people, over half of them live within that highlighted circle than outside of it, representing India, China, and Southeast Asia. Take it in. Did you know that you can take the entire world's population and fit them into the great state of Texas if they're distributed at the density of New York City? That's 27,000 people per square mile. They're not on top of each other. I did the math. It's 30 square feet per person. And are you digging to China when you're digging to China? We have an inversion of the Western Hemisphere over the Eastern Hemisphere here, and to show you where you would wind up if you were to dig through the middle of the Earth. For us North Carolinians, that would put us in the Indian Ocean off the west coast of Australia, not China. So stop China. Here we have the Pangaea supercontinent of 300 million years ago with modern day boundaries drawn on it. Just imagine how much more complicated our border situation would be with Cuba butting up against the Gulf states and Morocco and Mauritania butting up against our eastern shore. I'm a political map junkie, and I can't get enough. We all know the blue and red electoral map, but it's never as simple as that. If you dig much deeper, you could learn so much more by using color ramps and counties and 3D bars and color blending, and the cartogram again on the upper right. And in this disturbing map, the gray areas represent counties where the majority of eligible voters abstain from voting, essentially voting for nobody. If counted, actually counted, nobody won the election, snagging 37 states and 445 electoral votes to and Los Angeles has the same population as those 7 states in red, yet they have to share 2 senators with the rest of California, and they get 14 senators. So a solution to that would be dividing up the country into 50 equal population states. I love it. We'd be in Blue Ridge over there. And in this fascinating book, North America is divided into 11 nations based on such commonalities as migration, settlement patterns, cultural values, and voting patterns. We in Greater Appalachia actually stretch all the way into New Mexico, across the Texas Panhandle, strangely. Cartographers love to divide and classify, create divisions. Take New Jersey, please. On the left, we have a map that shows which areas lean towards which sports markets, while on the right, we showed preferred driving styles between those who use their turning signals and those who use their middle fingers. Judgmental Maps is a very un-PC atlas of maps with crowdsourced judgments written over neighborhoods. In it describes Boulder as 25 square miles surrounded by reality. Does that sound familiar? Could this be our sister city? We have crunchy groceries. We have rich effers with views. Asheville, baseball nation, anybody? I love this map. It shows the Yankees and the Red Sox rivalry extends all the way into Alaska. And those damn Yankees manage to fill the voids between other teams' extents. And here's proof that we will never run out of things to map. Somebody bothered to tabulate how we refer to soft drinks, down to the county level. Is it a pop? Is it a soda? Is it a Coke? Alaska, New Mexico, and even here in North Carolina, we seem to lack consensus on this critical issue. And lastly, I end up with mapping of the 7 deadly sins. How do we here in Asheville live up to our cesspool of sin moniker? We do okay with wrath and envy, but we're really lacking in the other sins. Surely we can do better. Thank you very much. All right.